Hi, it's the Recycled Mom, and today we're going to be talking about behaviors for leadership and how you can be the healthiest version of you. In the video today, we're going to be talking about behaviors that will help you to become the healthiest version of yourself so that you can be a better leader. We don't want to be a bad leader now, do we? Be sure to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel so that you can stay part of the Recycled Mom family, and click the notification bell because you're going to want to be notified when I post a video or go live. So, with that said, how are we going to lead in a world full of distraction and overwhelm and fear? And, we're in the day and time that we're living in now in 2021. We are kind of still in the throes of a lot of chaos and fear, mental health issues, and a lot of distractions. In the last year, we have had technology really come into our lives on a bigger scale because we needed to stay connected. We needed to do school. We needed to continue to work. And so we needed the technology, which meant that what we already had going on, we were either adding more to it or we were spending more time on it. We're an ADD society, meaning that we have adult distraction disorder. And so everybody has something. And so we're going to talk about this today. We're going to talk about the distractions that we have that have come into our lives and how it's affecting our lives and how it's affecting our families, our health, and then our behavior in relation to that. So it's not what we're distracted by, it's what we're distracted from. Technology is not the problem. We're using technology. We're spending more time on it. This kind of distraction was going on, before we had all of this technology come into our lives. We have more control over technology in our lives than we think we do. I think we are giving that too much credit. Where but because it's just easy to point the finger at that. It's easy to say, well, that's, there's so many distractions in my life, but we have more control of technology and the distractions. And it's time that we take that control back. A good leader, a good parent, a good individual, a healthy individual will deal with problems head on because it's what keeps us in good emotional health. Leadership is powerful. There's a saying, when the leader gets better, everyone gets better. We need to make sure that we are healthy leaders. And I'm speaking to moms, especially on my channel here for Recycled Moms, but this applies to everybody. We need to be the healthiest version of ourselves so that we can be a better mom, or we can be a better employee, a better wife, a better dad or husband for the men that might be watching this, to be a better, healthier version of ourselves so that we can do the job that we are called to do, wife, mother, business owner, doctor, nurse, that kind of thing, whatever, to be the best that we can be for that. Are you dealing with emotions that are running inside of you or not? Are you ignoring them, pushing them aside? Do you even know? Do you even know what's going on inside of you? Sometimes we're just masking these things because we're just going on. We don't want to deal with them. But a lot of times we don't even know what's going on, and we need to be able to get to that point. And I just realized I said we're masking those, but literally we are. We put these masks on and we really do mask our emotions. And this is just on an interpersonal level. We have to become the most emotionally aware version of ourselves so that we can understand what we're feeling. Because if we aren't dealing with our own emotions, ladies, we can't anticipate and respond emotionally to others and to the emotions of others and to their needs. I'm telling you, emotional health is key for great leaders, and I'm going to say great parents as well. Here are a few things that I want you to jot down to help you become a better version of yourself. And the first way to become a better version of yourself is to choose simplicity. And what does simplicity have to do with emotional health? We need to figure out who we are and what our purpose is and what our true path is. And then that's simple. Once we have that, then we can simply lead. I mean, it's very simple, but getting to that point takes some work to get there. And then that brings simplicity to our outer world. Another way that you can help yourself to becoming a healthier version is to check your dialogue, your inner dialogue. What are you speaking to yourself? What I tell myself will impact my emotional health. That'll preach. Write that down. What I tell myself will impact my emotional health. A lot of times you've heard me say on this channel, the brain believes what it receives. And so whatever we keep telling ourselves, that is what is going to resonate within our minds, and it's going to become a part of our being. We will identify with that and we will act it out. We have to be telling ourselves truth about ourselves, okay? And we have to reject the lies that are being told about ourselves. And we need to be careful what we say to ourselves. So it's not about, don't you tell me this, and you can't say this to me. Yeah, it is about the outside stuff, but we will attack ourselves. We are our own worst critics at most times. And we have to get over ourselves, okay? We cannot be easily offended. The person that's easily offended will be offended often, okay? So if we have an offendable heart, we're never going to grow into maturity, either spiritually or emotionally. And so we need to check that. To also help yourself in this area, you might want to ask yourself, why am I saying yes to this thing or that thing? Why am I committing to this? Why am I saying yes to this? Before we make a commitment, if we stop for a second and ask, why am I joining this Bible study? Why am I joining this parent teacher group? Why am I getting on here and volunteering for this? Figure out what it is deep down that you're actually doing it for. Is it self-satisfaction because I really enjoy this? Or is it because you want to please somebody else? If it's not going to be bringing you joy, or if it's not going to be bringing you happiness, then why are you saying yes to it, okay? But if it is bringing you joy, then commit 100% to it. We need to be doing more of those things. And how we speak to ourselves in hymns and memorizing scripture, spiritual songs, creeds. These things are all ways that we speak to ourselves, and we encourage, hopefully, we encourage ourselves in that. When we're singing, praise and worship songs, or we're just singing songs that bring us joy, that make us want to dance in the kitchen, but the music, the things that we read, the things that we consume with our eyes and our ears go straight into our soul. What are we putting in there? What are we speaking to ourselves? These things will help our emotional health because they will give us emotional clarity. Again, we're speaking truth and peace, gratefulness, happiness, joy. We're speaking these things into our lives, and that will help give us some clarity. So another thing that we can do to help ourselves become more emotionally healthy is pressing the pause button on the life reel. Life just keeps going and going and going, and we don't stop. I mean, we may stop or we may slow down, but coming to a full stop and getting silent. So these two things go together: pressing the pause and getting quiet. Okay, but I'm going to talk about pressing the pause. You need to take that time where you are resting physically, but even resting mentally. And by doing these things, we will be able to keep work in its place, in its proper place. I was just Gary Vee, and he was talking about during the shutdowns, during the lockdowns, he was calling it, he said that he was getting lots of sleep during quarantine. He was sleeping like 8-10 hours. And people are like, wow, that's something that's associated with laziness in our culture, getting that amount of sleep. Or we get that on a weekend or something. But he said every day he would get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. He says, but then I just slay the other 14 hours of the day. So his awake hours were spent hustling, doing the thing, doing the stuff that he needed to be doing. And that's what we need to be doing. We get the rest that we need. It is very important to get that rest that we need, not just squeeze in 4 hours as we think, oh my gosh, if I just stay up all night, or I stay up really late and get up really early, and I'll be doing this great job. And really, we are burned out because we're only getting like 4 hours of sleep when our bodies need, 6 to 8 hours of sleep, or however much it is for you. But you get your full amount of rest, and then you slay the rest of the hours. And I really loved that principle because it got me thinking, you work smarter, not harder. So you're working smart all those 14 hours, and then he's fully resting the others. When we have a weekly rhythm of pause, we are getting into a routine and a rhythm where we say, I'm working here, but now I'm not. I'm pausing here. I am saying that I am not my job, and my job does not control me. Keeping work in its proper place. We're saying, I am not what I do. I am who God says I am. We're saying, my work is not contingent upon me. Life goes on when I'm not going to be here, and so will work. Work was going to go on when I'm not here. I mean, it's keeping it real is what I like to say. And it keeps everything in its proper place. So getting quiet goes along with pressing the pause, because once you press pause, then there needs to be some silence involved in order for us to be able to get to the most important thing. Silence is really hard. Silence is deafening, right? And a lot of people don't like to sit in silence for very long. It can be so overwhelming. And we need to learn to be comfortable in silence, because we need to use the silence, because there are things that we need to hear. And I'm going to tell you right now, God does not compete with the noise. Okay? He's not going to start yelling and shouting, because that's not what he does. He's not going to compete with it. And so in order for us to really hear God, we need to turn down the volume, turn down the distractions, and so like literally either turn it down, turn it off, hit the pause. That's what we're saying here, is getting quiet. You need to have that quiet time. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could be 30 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, but you need to have that personal time so that you can get in to the inner part here and find out what it is that is inside of you that you need to know about yourself. What is it that God is trying to tell you? The Holy Spirit is trying to talk to you and communicate to you, and you've got so much distractions on. Get quiet, get focused. There's also, when you're getting quiet, then you'll be able to hear the things around you. So your family, I love when I will have nothing on going, the sound, I will have no music or anything going on, but I'm just kind of like listening while I might be doing dishes or doing something else. And I'll be listening to the kids, to my kids talking, or they're interacting with each other. And some of it is really like, whoa, I need to go upstairs, and need to engage, or but just listening to them in the car. I'll leave the radio off sometimes or whatever, and just let them talk. And I have learned so much and have picked up on so much just by listening. I don't need to be a part of their conversation. I can just listen, and I've picked up a lot about things that they're interested in, or their opinions about life and about God, and and just listening to them banter back and forth, and how they have formed and developed their own opinions. It's wonderful. But if I've got radio on, or all this other stuff going on, I won't hear that, or we'll just never talk about it. So it's a great way to be able to tune in to those around you, your family, yourself. And then if you have, maybe you operate a team, you have a team of people at your church or at your office, or, someplace where you are in charge of a group of people, you need to be quiet, operate from a place of quiet so that you can hear what's going around and be able to pick up. They need you to hear them. And I want to challenge you with this. Will you be willing to turn down the noise long enough and low enough to be curious about what's going on inside of you? Are you willing to be curious? And if so, are you willing to turn down the volume, turn down the distractions? This is so important. And I hope this helps you in becoming a healthier version of you, because we're all leaders. We all have people that are in our circle of influence. And I hope that this helps you to become emotionally healthy. Emotional health is the key. Thanks for tuning in today. Until next time, peace, love, healing, y'all.